Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new Fallout 76 video. So, today I thought we'd have a look at the build that I am running on my newly minted Ghoul character, as it's not done, but it's sort of 95 or so % of the way there, and as close as it's going to get in the short term at the very least. I need a whole bunch more levels before I can put the final polish on it. But I've been having a good time with this one. I've been really enjoying the Ghoul update. I've been having, a lot of fun running around and just generally whacking things with a sword, or actually it's a plasma cutter, but it's been a good fun build, this one. It's pretty high damage output. On the whole, I'm pretty impressed with that. I'm not kind of obsessed with the min-maxing or anything like that, but it's been good fun. And as we'll see from the various bits of footage I'm going to put up throughout the course of this video, it is pretty darn effective. And it's been a nice change of pace, as I say. Kind of wish the update had a bit more in the quest side of things, a bit more story-type content. But we can't have everything, and it does take a while to put even the sort of gameplay elements together, like the Ghoul here. So hopefully that's something we'll get in a future video. But yeah, we're going to have a look at my main sort of running around and sort of run and gun on the go build. Not really my boss killer build. That one needs a little bit of work, but this is my main sort of running around and hitting things build, and it's good fun. So, here we are hanging out in my camp. For those who are curious, it is down in the Maya. We are under the bridge at just south of Harper's Ferry here. I'll throw a link up to the camp so you can look at that video if you want, but I quite like this place and it kind of fits my Ghoul, nice little hidden bunker. Before we get into the loadout, let's have a look at the weapon I'm running, shall we? That seems like a good idea. So I've got a few. Mad Jack here is my run and gun thing. And there are the details. When I got this, I had just enough legendary modules for a single 3-star roll of the weapon. And that was what I had, plus whatever was floating around in my stash box at the time. And as it turned out, that first roll got me exactly this. Anti-armor, faster swing speed, and +3 agility. Strength would do more damage, but looking at the numbers down in the bottom left there, you can see that really doesn't need to be buffed any further. As you'll see with the perk cards I've chosen, it's not like it's maxed out anyway, and it's still brutally effective. Against most enemies, it's a sort of two-hit kill with ordinary swings, and if you power attack, it's a one-hit kill. I'm pretty darn sure I established today that if I hit a super mutant behemoth in the head with power attacks, I can take that down in 2 hits. Most other things that are bigger than that are going to take a few more. But yeah, it's not really a boss killing, really maximum damage output build, but it's a really good fun. So yeah, as a reminder, the weapon is a plasma cutter, specifically. I've got a skin on it, the independent sword skin, so the base obviously doesn't look anything like this. And we've got the cryo blade on it. There are 3-4 different blades I think you can put on the plasma cutter, and they all seem to add the same amount of damage. It just changes the type of elemental damage it does. I've gone for the cryo blade for cold damage just because it reduces movement speed on your enemies, which in the unlikely event that they survive long enough for that to have any particular impacts is not such a bad thing, and the damage output's the same. Also, it was pointed out to me recently that most enemies don't have a whole lot of cryo resistance either, so that's an added bonus as well. Right, let's have a look at this loadout, shall we? So, here we go. This is my main loadout. So here are the base numbers before legendary perks. So I've got 15 in strength, 13 in endurance, 10 in agility, and then 5 in perception, 2 in charisma, 6 in intelligence, and 5 in luck. Now there's a couple of things I would like to move around, but for now I can't really do that, as I just don't have enough to buff any more legendary perks. Speaking of, let's have a look at the legendary perks first. I would like to maybe put legendary strength in or something, and then I'll have some extra points to move around. There we go. Feral Rage. So this is a Feral Ghoul build. Feral especially, because that's where we're going. And when Feral, all glow perk abilities cost 50% less glow, so I can max that glow out. So for those who are wondering, to get your glow up, you need maximum health, and then you take radiation damage after you're at max health, and it turns into glow and gives you effectively double your maximum health as well. But as you use your glow-based abilities, that does drop back down towards the full health mark. And also as you take damage as well, so bear that in mind. But yeah, radiation will heal you. It's not currently the fastest way to heal myself. I'm still better off using Stimpaks if I drop below that 100% mark. But above 100%, then Toxic Goo puts a lot of radiation on really quick, so it's pretty good at that point. So I've got legendary agility, because agility is crazy good these days, especially if, like me, you're not a fan of action points. You can use the agility to basically wipe out any consideration of them. So it will regenerate so fast you very, very rarely run out. And yeah, it annoys me when I have to deal with stamina systems. So this way I really don't have to do that too much, which is absolutely fantastic. Collateral damage is a melee perk. Gives me a chance to do area damage if the enemies happen to explode. This is probably my least priority one, and probably the one I would take off and replace with legendary strength if I had the opportunity to do that, which I don't right now. You can see I've only got 46 perk coins. So I need, what, about 300 on top of that or something? Something like that. Got legendary luck on. Power armor reboot, mostly for me other build. If I'm using power armor, it's nice to have that little boost. If you're not paying enough attention, you get knocked down. And legendary intelligence as well. So, strength. I've got 1 point in barbarian, and then I get a little bit more damage resistance, which is nice. Doubled when you're not wearing armor, but still, extra damage resistance based on your strength is nice to have nonetheless, even if you don't double it. Blocker for extra resistance against melee attacks. It's a melee build. I'm up close and personal a lot of the time, and even if I'm not fighting melee enemies, enemies with guns will tend to bash you when you get up in their face, so reduced damage from that is not unwelcome. Incisor. Melee and unarmed weapons ignore armor. Kind of a no-brainer, really, isn't it? Martial artist, so I can swing my weapons faster. This thing is pretty darn quick anyway, but add this to your build and your swinging is so fast it's crazy. One of the reasons it's so effective. Radioactive strength is awesome. Expend a moderate amount of glow to deal 150% more damage when you're power attacking. Yeah, combined with some of the other perks we'll have a look at in a minute, you power attack and hit something in general, most things go down in one, and if you hit them in a weak spot, like the head, they will absolutely go down in one, unless you're going up against those really big, tanky enemies, which most of the time you're not, so, you know. And brick wall is fun to have. When your glow's high, it makes you immune to staggering, because, yeah, who likes getting staggered? There's a couple of bits I could swap out here if I really wanted to push the damage higher. I don't have any of the gladiator perks you might notice on there, which are the damage increasing ones. I really don't need them. The one big thing I would like to change is to have warrior, I think it is, but that's an intelligence perk. That's the big thing I would like to change. Other than that, there's one other perk that is currently not equipped that we'll come to in a minute. So, perception. Breathing in, rad resistance reduced by 150%. Basically means I can use radiation to heal myself more, and I can put my glow back up towards maximum much, much more quickly when I consume radioactive food and drink. Toxic goo usually is the one I go for. Carry a lot of toxic goo, and I consume quite a lot of it as well with this build, because you take a little bit of damage, it drops down, you swing your weapon, it drops down quite a lot as well. So you do go through that glow quite fast, and it's definitely necessary to just pop a little toxic goo to top it off again. Red Reaver. When dealing non-automatic melee damage, you get a small amount of glow. Always nice to top that back up. It means you don't have to restore it using toxic goo quite as often. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think this applies to power attacks. It seems to only apply to regular attacks. I haven't noticed it applying to power attacks anyway. I should keep an eye on that one. Still, it's for the sake of one extra swing and a little top up, it's not a bad thing to have on occasion. Over on endurance, we've got a combination of stuff that is going to make me a little bit more tanky, because you do take a fair bit of damage. And it's also going to basically improve the amount of radiation I take in. So, Ironclad to buff that armor. Adamantium Skeleton to improve my limb damage reduction. I do still find on occasion my character gets limbs broken, especially as I'm up close and personal in melee combat. So having Adamantium Skeleton is helpful, and it's always helpful to have a handful of stim packs on you just to top things off on occasion when you need them. For the most part, I really want to do my healing with toxic goo, but here and there, stim packs are useful, especially when you get broken limbs. Fireproof is pretty much a no-brainer for every build ever. Less damage from flame and explosions is top tier, really. Radiation power, this is awesome. Expend a small amount of glow per hit to deal bonus damage to targets. So it's just a flat 20% damage bonus when you have glow. Yeah, not going to turn that one down, are we? Especially as glow is supporting so many other parts of the build as well. So glowing guts means a radiated food drink grant 300% more rads. So yeah, my main way of keeping my glow up, and hopefully before long improving my healing as well, is to consume irradiated food in the form of toxic goo, and this just makes it even more effective. you have to have 1 point in charisma, can't go below that, and I had one other point somewhere else floating around that really wasn't that important to use, so I thought I'd put something actually useful in the charisma tree. So at 2 points, we've got feral presence, while feral, which this character is feral all the time, once you've gone feral, you require chems in order to go back to the sane form of the ghoul. There are some drawbacks that we'll have a look at in a minute, but for the most part, especially with this build, you want to be feral because it's like a 150% damage increase, so it's kind of a no-brainer. Yes, well, feral, reduce your target's damage output by 30% after you attack. It's a suppressor's effect, but it lasts even longer. 5 seconds instead of 2 seconds. I think I've got suppressors down here, haven't I? Yeah, 5 seconds instead of 2 seconds. And it costs less as well. So intelligence, I've got gunsmith. So guns break low. Why have I got gunsmith on here? I don't know why I've got gunsmith on here. Let's change that. I shouldn't do. Let's put makeshift warrior. There we go. I have to rethink whether or not I need to change anything now, because somehow I missed that one. There we go. My melee weapons won't break so fast. I may still want to squeeze something else in here going forward. Maybe some demo expert perks, because there's some nice bomb-based perks in here for your explosives, which are quite good fun. Yeah, that actually kind of means this build has just got slightly closer to where I want it to be. Anyway, that's cool. So yeah, now my melee weapons won't break quite so quickly. Science monster, this one's fun. When you have glow, you gain 15% bonus damage for 10 seconds when you get hit. If you're in melee, you're getting hit even more often than when you're not. So yeah, constant, near constant anyway, 15% damage bonus. And it lasts 10 seconds after you get hit, so that's... You're going to get hit more than once every 10 seconds, so it's a great little perk, that one. So, you may notice that I have 3 perks, 3 points rather, unused here, and these being held back specifically for the Rad Specialist perk, which I will be putting in here. Increase your rad intake by 25% on armour and parent armour, doubled if you are wearing a matching set. So, basically, I am wearing a matching set, so it's a 50% buff on the amount of radiation I take in, meaning my healing and my glow top-up will be even better. However, for right now, that perk is broken. It will randomly unequip other perks that you have out in your loadout if you have the Rad Specialist thing equipped. Bethesda are aware, they are working on it, and hopefully, on down the line, that will be fixed, and it'll be going into this slot of 3 here that I've got empty and waiting for it. But for now, it's sitting there and staying away so that my other perks don't disappear on me. But yeah, looking forward to having that one in there. On to agility, Action Boy, for extra action points. Yeah, a lot of this is run faster and not have to worry about action points, which is kind of my cup of tea entirely. So, more action point regen, packing light, action points regenerate faster when not over encumbered. Fantastic. Even more action point regen. White Knight is kind of a no-brainer, really. It's really annoying to constantly have to repair your armour, so having White Knight on any build that has armour, not power armour that is, just regular armour, is definitely a worthwhile use of 3 agility points. Jaguar speed, sprint faster when your glow is high. Getting up close and personal with enemies is what this build is all about, so being able to run to them that little bit quicker is nice to have. It's more of a nice to have bonus element than anything else, but yeah, definitely a nice to have. Action Ghoul, power of the glow makes your AP regenerate 45% faster, so yeah, we are absolutely regenerating that AP so fast. Which is definitely the goal, because, yeah, as I have mentioned, I hate all stamina systems. They ruin every game ever and should never be used ever. Hyper Reflexes. This is a nice one. I like this one a lot. When your glow's high, you gain a 20% evasion chance. Basically, it can stack with some of the other evasive perks, I think. Like, evasive, funnily enough. If I wanted to drop, say, Jaguar Speed or Packing Light and get even more evasion on there and take less damage, I could. However, too much of this will offset to a certain degree the Science Monster perk, which gives you extra damage when you get hit. So you do want to get hit occasionally, just not too often. So it's kind of a nice balance there. So let's jump over to luck, and on our 10 points here, we've got Bloody Mess, because, you know, 15% damage bonus. Class Freak to reduce the negative effects of mutations. You'll notice over in Endurance, I don't have, what's it called? Let's jump over here and have a look. Starch Genes on. Because the usual reason for having Starch Genes on is to prevent Radaway from curing your mutations. Granted, you'll never mutate from Rads, but you won't do anyway if you're a Ghoul. That's just how Ghouls work. You have to use serums if you want to get extra mutations as a Ghoul. Speaking of, we'll talk about mutations in a second. But that just means it's the red away that's relevant, and as a ghoul you don't want to use red away anyway, because reds are good for you. So yeah, I don't need that one. Anyway, jumping back, Class Freak is the other one that goes hand in hand usually with Starch Genes. That's the one. Because it's tied into mutations, and this one reduces the negative effects in case of 3 ranks by 75%. Good with salt. Ghouls don't need to eat, and they don't get benefits from being well fed, so things like overeaters, not helpful at all. On the other hand, you do get the secondary buffs from food, like increased melee damage. So I've got a bunch of food on me that will buff my melee damage up to an additional 80% if I want it. Not entirely sure how effective that is. It doesn't feel like a massive change, to be honest, but it's supposed to do that. So as I'm running around with that, good with salt is nice to have, as some food's not too bad to keep in stock, grilled red stag and stuff, because I can just produce that in my camp. But mutant hound meat, for example, or Yaoguai meat, if you prefer that, those are a bit harder to come by, and you need more of it to produce the best version of the food. So you don't really want it spoiling any more than you have to. So good with salt is really, really worthwhile for that point of view. And faulty spots, this is always great. Weak point damage increased by 15%, so extra 15% for headshots and stuff. So yeah, all in all, still a few damage perks that aren't here and could be sort of swapped out into the build if I really wanted to, but I really don't need to, as you'll see from the footage. So if you did want to have a look at my auto-axe build, which is my boss killer, we'll give you a chance to pause this here if you would like to. Basically, it's very, very similar. There's a couple of little differences here and there, and some extra stuff in intelligence to accommodate the use of power armor. But on the whole, yeah, not massively different. Can even move a few bits around. It's also not quite as finalised as the other one, so we'll see. But yeah, very, very, very effective, this particular build with an auto-axe as well. So, a few things to look at. We could have a look at my armour if you're particularly interested in that. It's a bunch of Brotherhood Recon armour. Oops. So, you can see what effects I've got on it here if you want to. It's a mixture of stuff to buff my health when buff my resistances rather than my health is low, and also when it's high as well. Just generally make sure I've got a decent buff on all the time. On top of that, we've got reduced damage while not moving. That's nice. I'll go over here. Weapon weight's reduced on that one. Life saving's nice to have. Free stim pack every once in a while. And more effective stim packs aren't so bad. Food, drink, and chem weight's reduced. Always nice. And this one's actually not as good as it could be. A little bit of extra perception. But basically we've got a mixture of vanguards and bolstering on here. Just to make sure I get a little bit of a buff, whether high health or low. I would probably go for... Is this the high health one? Yeah, vanguards. Generally for this particular build, if you're bothered about that. Just because you want to keep yourself above 100% health anyway. To take advantage of the glow. So, stats. I have a lot of stuff going on here. There's mostly perks on this side, I think. Yep, that's all the effect of my perks. And then you've got Vanguard. It's giving me a little 35 across the board because I've got 2 of them stacked. So, Feral. This build, as you can see at the bottom here, is always Feral. Pros and cons. Lose a little HP, lose a tiny little bit of action points, but my agility perks are offsetting that so much it really doesn't matter. Lose a little bit of health on the endurance front there. Lose a lot of charisma. Ghouls have low charisma anyway, so this is not actually the hit it would appear to be. If you really want to sell anything for decent caps, to be honest, with your charisma that penalised, you're better off selling it to players if possible, because that's not affected by your charisma. One of the reasons I've noticed a lot more people selling a lot more stim packs recently, because they're usually a good way to make caps. You can get stim packs from all manner of events, expeditions, daily ops, stuff like that, in quite large numbers. So selling them is a good way to make caps. But it doesn't work so well if you're selling them to robot vendors who are not charmed by your ghouly appearance. So yeah, stick it in your camp vendor, that's what I'm doing. So, Feral Strength, get a plus 150% melee damage. This is what it's all about. That massive damage buff is absolutely fantastic. And reduced gun accuracy. You don't really want to be feral if you're using guns. But if you're melee, it's great. So, mutations. Adrenal reaction. damage goes up as HP decreases. That's basically the gist of that. So if generally bloodied players would like this one, I've got it on here largely because might get you over the line to killing the enemy before they kill you. But it's not a priority one. Carnivore's good because you get extra benefits from eating meat. Definitely helpful for melee builds. Carnivore's the way to go for that. Lose a tiny little bit of strength from Egghead, but gain extra intelligence, so that's just free XP really. Look at how small the difference is. Electrically charged, do damage to melee attackers. I'm getting hit in melee a lot. It's just nice to have. Healing factor, so extra health regen. Chems are slightly less effective, but that's fine. Health regen is not such a bad thing. We want to stay high health anyway. Marsupial is kind of a must for the carry weight and the jump height. Scaly skin is damage resistance, which is always nice to have. Speed demon, so I can run even faster. Reload doesn't really matter on this particular build, and neither hunger and thirst, but being able to run a bit faster is absolutely fantastic. Twisted muscles. This is a new one I've only recently added. If I was going to switch to a gun build, I'd probably take this off, as it gives me 25% extra chance to cripple, and with a melee weapon that is, but at the cost of some reduced gun accuracy. Unstable isotope is a chance to deal fire and rads to melee attackers. That just kind of tracks with being a ghoul, really, doesn't it? You get attacked by ghouls, they hit you in melee, and they do rad damage, so, you know, it's just kind of thematic and kind of free damage at the same time. So that is my mutations. I don't think we've got anything else majorly worth discussing in terms of gear. I've got power armor in my inventory, but to be honest, there's nothing particularly remarkable about that, other than the fact it's Union. I don't have it legendary because there's no point in having legendary power armor. This is the auger paint from the last season, by the way, and it looks pretty awesome. But yeah, basically, no point in having legendary power armor. It's that good anyway. It's a complete waste of time together, is my feeling on it, which is why I've never done it. There we go. There is my... I think, reasonably epic one-handed melee build on my Ghoul. It's been good fun this last week or so. I've been playing more of Fallout than I have in a while. Outside of obviously streams and directly producing videos. Just on my own time I've played more, and that's pretty cool. I'm very much enjoying it. If you happen to be catching this video around about the time of its release, by the way, one of the plus sides to that is this season will probably be a little shorter than usual, a couple of weeks shorter, as the last one was extended by a little bit. So that's going to have a knock-on effect. So if I'm playing more and advancing through the scoreboard a little bit faster, that is only a good thing at the moment. But yeah, hope you guys found that interesting and maybe informative, gave you some ideas for a melee build. This one, as I say, is... I could push the damage even higher if I really, really, really wanted to, but there's kind of no point, really. It's already ridiculously effective. And as for that, auto-axe, that is just bananas. You can complete... group content that is very, very difficult to do solo with an auto-axe. Way more ease than you'll be able to with most other builds. I know there are some others that can get up there and do that as well, but this one is just crazy easy to do. Just get up there and use that auto-axe, you'll shred. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. If you did like the video, please do drop subs and likes. I very much appreciate. Social media links down below in the description as well, and channel memberships below the video if you want to support the channel that way. I really, really appreciate that. Massively helps out. If you get a chance, join us for live streams as well. We are, of course, playing some 76, having a good time with this one. And we've been playing Avowed lately as well, really enjoying that. It's been good fun, really, really cool game. And Atomfall is out in a couple of days. I can't wait to check that one out either. Going back to my home county for a little bit of post-apocalyptic English action. Should be good fun. Looking forward to it. So, join us for that if you get the chance. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.